Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go.
Gaming, tech, culture.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go.
You're listening to the Cool Black Nerd Podcast, presented by Say What Radio.
Good evening, everybody. I want to welcome you to the 9th episode of the Cool Black Nerd Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jules. I also have Justice with me. We are playing Destiny 2. It is very possible that this is being streamed on Twitch or YouTube or that Microsoft thing that
Mixer.
people use now. All of a
Mixer.
sudden, Mixer. Yep. All right. So let me see what we got this week. Borderlands 3 is out. Have you checked out any of those reviews?
Oh, yeah. That was the first thing I was doing. As soon as it dropped, I believe that was the 12th or the 13th that it actually dropped. Don't quote me on that. But went ahead and took a look at it. Most of the things that I've seen have been positive, but those are mainly on console things. A lot of the pre-reviews that came out for it were on PC. Was just like, this sucks. I can't do shit. I'm losing save data in some instances. Like the person actually was playing like 6 hours or so into the game and lost that character.
Okay. I got you. That's unfortunate. So we have a potential case of releasing unfinished product again, huh?
Well, I think it was mainly, like I said, this is happening on PC.
Okay.
So not that many people are complaining about it on consoles, but who's to say it's not happening there? Who knows?
I got you. Well, the reviews I saw have mostly been for console, and they kind of echoed what you've heard. Generally, they've all kind of said, hey, if you liked Borderlands 1 and 2, you're going to like Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Out of the 3, they seem to say that it's actually probably the best one, but it kind of sucks that PC is having those technical issues, possibly also having some issues on console as well. But in general, sounds like it's actually a pretty good game.
Have you ever played the Borderlands series?
But no, I haven't. You know, it had been my gaming experience that first-person shooters was not something that I really enjoyed until like Call of Duty.
You came to the dark side.
Black Ops 3, I think. It's something like that, but it was much later. So like there wasn't a new Borderlands available when I started playing first-person shooters. I mean, even now, really, I still don't. Like, the one I play is Destiny. I don't really play any other first-person shooters. It's generally not something I'm interested in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm 100% serious. The thing that makes Destiny different to me, and I guess would also make Borderlands different, which, I mean, I probably would enjoy it, now that I've played Destiny, but I'm definitely more of a looter shooter kind of player. Like, I don't know to call it competitive first person player, but I think the looting is what really got me with Destiny 2. And, you know, I probably would enjoy Borderlands as a result. I just haven't played any of them.
From just playing with you myself, I kind of think that you would enjoy it as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit more wacky.
Yeah.
And crazy with the stuff that it does.
Okay. That
was actually the first game that I got into doing the looter shooter stuff. And that was because of Mike. Mike was just, oh, you have to play this. And I'm like, I'm going to play this cartoon ass game.
I'll admit this. It's been my experience that the cartoon ass games seem to be the funnest, usually.
They do.
So
I'll give you that one.
I don't know. You know, sometimes everybody's not trying to get that old hyper realistic. You don't need that feel all the time. Just give me something that look like a cartoon and doing wacky stuff. It'd probably be pretty fun.
Because I have to say, the Dragon Ball game, that is so out left field type stuff, but I loved playing it.
Okay.
Just saying.
The Dragon Ball game. Yep, definitely. That was not my cup of tea, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
All right.
All right. So Borderlands 3, I guess, you know, it's cool. If you get it on PC, be careful of those technical issues. Fortunately, if it is PC, you know it. Well, I'm going to say it shouldn't take too long for them to come out with a fix for it. I believe that
Epic Game Store.
Okay, but I still feel like it's at least a reputable developer. Like it's not one of the ones that are proving themselves to be jerks about stuff. Like it's not EA, it's not Activision.
Not all the time.
I have more faith that they'll get it right than some of the other ones.
I want to say that was Bethesda. I think it was. It was a game where basically, you know, back in the day when you did the installation of it on games, it was usually to the main C drive.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular game, when you tried to uninstall it, it basically deleted the C drive.
What?
Yeah. Because the command was delete folder. It didn't say delete this. It just delete folder. And it
just deleted whatever folder.
Everything. So your OS is gone. Everything.
Oh my gosh. That's interesting. Maybe they wanted people to learn the benefits of saving stuff in its own folder instead of just.
Well, no. Unfortunately, that was the thing. The installer didn't give you the choice of necessarily in the beginning saying, oh, I want to install here. It just went to the default. And nobody tested what happens if you uninstall it.
That's crazy. I'm glad I didn't have to deal with that. I haven't really been a PC gamer much for very long. In fact, it's been less than
a year.
Oh, yeah, a year, I guess. Fortunately, I haven't had to deal with any of that kind of foolishness.
Man.
So what else we got? You mentioned something else is going on with Anthem, Lord.
Oh,
I don't know what else to say about this. I don't even know why this game is still why are people still playing it? Why
nobody's actually playing it? I will say that.
Okay.
The base is pretty much gone. Matchmaking, you can't do anything. Anybody who's actually trying to play, because everything was, it was a live service game. It no longer functions, of course. But so previously, they had their roadmap. They were doing this, they were doing that. And they kept saying that, oh, we're not giving up on Anthem. We're going to keep delivering content, blah, blah, blah. Now they have completely deleted that roadmap.
Of course.
Everything that was supposed to be coming up, and changed it to where it'll just be seasonal events, possibly.
Okay. Possibly.
For a subscription fee, because it is now part of EA Access.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump in here and provide just a bit of defense for EA Access. A game being free to play and then people paying for seasonal content is a viable business model. So we can't just say that that's bad. I think the thing that makes it bad is that, how long has it been? 6 months?
Not even that. 5.5.
5.5 months since the game came out and you had people paying?
Yeah, full price for it. Now it's free to play. Almost. Well, not even free to play.
Well, I mean, it's EA Access, so you're paying for the EA subscription.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very bad.
Yeah, that's the problem. So I'm going to go ahead and take that game off life support. I'm calling it at 7:10 p.m. We lost Anthem. It wasn't a very strong fight. It just kind of floundered around out there for a little bit and just couldn't make it.
Rest in peace.
All right, so guys, we're going to get into a little bit of a more serious conversation. Let's talk about Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh.
Do we have to?
I mean, I think so. I think it's important that we touch on it. I want to offer a contrast. But let's walk through the Brett Kavanaugh situation so far. So we know that he was nominated to be Supreme Court. We had Christine Blasey Ford, come out with her story of what happened when they were in high school. And then we had, other stories. Or
college.
No, hers was in high school.
I thought that was, so this, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Hers was in high school. That's when we found out that he drinks beer. He still likes beer. And we also saw his reaction. He didn't, to me, seem very
happy.
No, I'm not going to even say happy. It just felt like he may have issues with controlling his temperament, depending on the setting. But, that wasn't for me to really determine. I just letting you know how I felt. But regardless, as that investigation was going on and he was being vetted, there were other stories that came out, like Debbie Ramirez is the one I think you're thinking of. Yes. When he was in college. For whatever reason, the FBI wasn't allowed to fully investigate her claim.
I think it was the timing, because Republicans were pushing for a deadline for it.
Yeah, Republicans in the House, not the House, in the Senate were pushing a deadline for his confirmation hearing. But anyway, he did get confirmed. He got, confirmed, became a Supreme Court justice. Recently, we found out that there may have been another witness to either the Debbie Ramirez situation or a different situation. That part is unclear. I did read the article about it. So one of his classmates at Yale witnessed an encounter where two of his friends had his genitalia in their hands and pushed it into a female student's face at a party, which sounds like the incident that Debbie Ramirez was referring to. But the classmate gave a different student. And when they reached her, she said that she did not remember an event happening like that and didn't think that it happened to her.
The one that I read is that it did corroborate. They just didn't have enough time to investigate everything.
Well, no. They tracked down the person the guy who said he witnessed it was Max Steyer. He gave them a name and they finally tracked her down. She basically said it didn't happen to her. And if it did, she doesn't remember, something like that, which is an interesting way to say that it didn't happen.
Talk about this.
Yeah. But I'm just going to take it at face value. She said it wasn't her. So I'm not sure. I don't know what happened. I mean, at this point, he is a Supreme Court justice.
Well, see, the thing is the stuff that I heard was a little bit different because that's why they're doing the calls for impeachment, because they were able to corroborate some sort of story. I don't know which one it was.
Well, that's the thing. So the details were similar to Debbie Ramirez. So they think that it could be her that he was talking about. But again, at issue is he gave them a different name, and the person that he gave them is basically saying it wasn't her. So that's the issue. So that, the calls for impeachment pretty much came immediately once the story came out. But a couple of days later, like the editorial board for that paper put out a notice that basically said, hey, we finally tracked down the person that Max Steyer said that it was, and she's saying that it wasn't her. I don't think that's the end of it, though,
because honestly, even if it was her, I'm pretty sure she's thinking, I saw what y'all did to Miss Ford. You're not about to do that to me.
Right. I understand that. And then, we definitely have reports of her, like she had to quit her job. She had to hire like personal security for her and her family because she was not only getting death threats, but getting like credible death threats, like from people who potentially could actually do something. Like she wasn't just getting a death threat from
Randy in the back.
Yeah. From Instagram user 6969 and 4chan.com. Like she was getting real threats. So that could potentially be the case. Man, you know what? After talking about it, I was going to connect this to Antonio Brown yelling. I'm sorry. I can't do it now.
Why
I can't
not?
do it. I was going to try to say, like, I've seen a lot of people defending Antonio Brown. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what? Actually, I am going to go ahead and make that same kind of comparison. So the level of care and like seriousness that we've seen people take with this Brett Kavanaugh thing to not try to immediately just discredit the woman based on whatever, or to immediately discredit Antonio Brown. I think we need to have we need to keep that same energy across both of these situations. Just
Please because I'm a little bit out of the picture on this.
Okay, so Antonio Brown, he is being sued by a woman for sexual assault. There's no criminal charges. It's not a criminal inquiry. She's not pressing charges, but she's suing him for sexual assault. Just a civil case, which has a lower threshold lower standard.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, when you're doing a criminal, it's innocent until proven guilty. In civil, you're guilty until proven innocent.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So that's going on. And then in kind of this fashion, after this first one, we've had someone else come out and say that she was also sexually assaulted. She's also not pressing charges. She is suing him, but she's suing him for payment for painting a mural in his home. But she's just saying that while she was there, he did some old creep shit. So, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. You can look at it as this is establishing a pattern of behavior. Do you look at it as this is sour grapes? Like I don't know what to say. I don't know. I think that everybody needs to take a step back. And I'm going to say it this way because I've seen both sides of this. Just in conversation with friends, just in passing or seeing various posts on social media or various discourse on the internet, I've seen people saying like, oh, he did that shit. Like Kanan said about Ghost on Power. They say he did that shit. He did that shit. Antonio Brown is a fuck up. He's a weird guy. He's done some crazy shit. Like, who gets the bottom of their feet burned off in a cryo chamber? Like, I don't get that shit. I don't even understand how that happened. If you don't know about that, that's a whole nother thing we can talk about. But
no, I don't.
He's definitely like an eclectic kind of guy. But somebody being weird like that doesn't necessarily mean that they're some sort of sexual predator, right? Now, on the flip side, that doesn't mean that he's not either. And we have multiple claims of sexual assault against him. So
something's going on.
I can understand why some people are so quick to rush to judgment and say, oh, well, he definitely did that shit. And I also heard the flip side of it. And I think this is what really got me thinking about it. Like, I was listening to the radio this morning and the host of the radio show, and I think what kind of made it even more surprising to me is that it was a woman, basically was like, so when did this happen? It happened in 2017. So you waited 2 years before you said something. And then for the other one, he was like, oh, so he didn't pay you for some work that you did. Now you got something to say about sexual assault all of a sudden. And I'm like, that's not how that works all the time. And sometimes it takes someone else coming out and saying something first before other people had the courage to come out and speak up for themselves. And we've even seen that in men who have been sexually assaulted. So it's like, how can you say that, especially being a woman? I think that's the one that really kind of surprised me, that she would say that.
You'd be surprised how many women feel that way because they've never been in those situations, even remotely close to it. I think what the general gist of it is just the same thing, or it's related in the, in the same realm. But I wouldn't say it's the same, where people are like, hey, I like your hair as a Black person and I want to touch it. I want to, it's just like, okay, that's just not what you do. You do not act that way with certain people, but they wouldn't know that because they don't deal with it.
Yeah.
Some people, they always say it's either sensitivity training or being around other people. Honestly, that doesn't always do it. Some people are just assholes. They don't really care.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's kind of like a tiger where they see one. When am I going to get another chance to be able to do this? You still wouldn't fucking do it. Just stop. You'd be surprised some of the answers I've heard to people asking to touch my hair or some of the situations I've been in with men. And they were like, well, I didn't see what the problem was. I get it because you don't have to deal with it.
So I don't know. See, here's the thing that makes it rough. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending Brett Kavanaugh or that I'm defending Antonio Brown, because at the end of the day, both of them, or neither one of them could be some sort of sexual predator out here roaming the streets. And I also don't want to make it sound like I believe these women are liars, because I don't.
The middle ground is hard to get to.
Where do you find the middle ground? I think that's something that I'm struggling with, but I'm also very disappointed in some of the reactions that I've heard on both sides of it. Like, I don't want to say that Antonio Brown is just some evil dude out here. Although I do know that he's weird and he has definitely got some idiosyncrasies.
We have to go back to this feet thing.
The feet thing? Okay, so the feet thing, man, you just kind of got to start at the beginning with Antonio. So Antonio Brown was a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was unhappy with being on that team.
Okay, yeah, I've read about that.
So he finally got traded to the Oakland Raiders. So before training camp, he goes to France and gets cryotherapy.
Why are you in France?
That's not what
you do. Okay.
I don't know. But he went to France, and while he was there in the off season, he was in went to go get cryotherapy, which is very popular. And, now that's not like a strange or it's not an outlier for people to do that. Like regular people
do that now. It is in France. I'm sorry. You went to a foreign country to get cryotherapy.
No, he didn't. No. We don't know that that's specifically why he went. We just know that while he was there, he did it. So he was there, got cryotherapy. But apparently they didn't use the proper footwear. So the bottom of his feet, not his toes, not his whole foot, just the bottom of his feet was frostbitten, and it started to form blisters and peel really bad. So he was unavailable for like the first week or two of training camp while he was treated for frostbite on the bottom of his feet. I just want you to think about that.
Jules.
Think about how ridiculous that sounds.
He
had frostbite on the bottom of your feet.
I just want you to know that if you have never gotten cryotherapy, the first thing that they tell you is you have to cover your extremities. You cover your hands, you cover your feet, because you could get frostbite. So that's why I'm saying the fact that he even went to a foreign country and you had never had this done clearly here in the States. Why?
No, I'm pretty sure he got it done in the States before.
No, because the first thing you would have said, wear your socks and your shoes.
Well, no. He did have on some sort of foot covering. It was just improper. We didn't say he went in there barefoot. It was just the wrong stuff. Maybe he went in there with some church socks on and he needed some athletic socks. I don't know
what I'm saying.
But he just went in there with the wrong stuff. That's all. That's all we're saying. Accidents happen, but I'm just saying stuff like that makes him a weird guy. And then we had a whole issue with using a certain helmet, which was also just a debacle.
So are we just saying he's just like an athletic Sheldon from Big Bang Theory?
I guess so.
He got his particular ways.
Yeah, he got his particular ways about him.
Is he got Asperger's?
He's always been a different kind of guy. Like, even when he's talking like in interviews, he's just a different kind of dude. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's almost comical sometimes.
Yeah. Very much so.
But again, like I said, him being just a different kind of dude doesn't necessarily make him a sexual predator. But it also doesn't not make him one, if that makes sense.
I'm sorry. If you in foreign countries with your feet out getting services you've never got in the States properly, clearly, something's telling me that you don't have the best judgment in the world, and that this stuff
he might not have the best judgment,
and that this stuff is going to come naturally to you. So interactions with the fair sex is going to have the same ending.
Yeah, see, I'm not willing to make that jump to that conclusion.
You know how long you have to be in there for your feet?
Nope, I don't. And I'm not making that leap that you just made.
I'm done.
So, yeah, that's it. Now, if we want to go back to Brett Kavanaugh, I brought up the beard thing and his temperament because for me, those are the issues as far as him actually being allowed to be a Supreme Court justice. I honestly don't think that we need somebody who loves beer as much as he does, clearly. I mean, when you went into this process, you went into the process of trying to become a Supreme Court justice. You've seen the history. You saw what happened with Vetting Clarence Thomas and some of the other justices who have had contentious confirmation hearings.
Yeah.
You had to know what was going to happen. You should have been prepared for that. You should have been able to hold your composure while that was going on. And I know people will say, well, if it's something that he didn't do, he has somebody attacking his character in quite possibly the worst way, et cetera, et cetera. But part of your job as a judge is to be able to remain temperamental and not let your emotions.
No, it's not. President ain't got to do it. Why he got to do it? That's exactly why he did it.
Okay, I see what you're saying, but I'm just saying, like, literally though, like, part of it is being able to, display a temperament and an impartiality that would not have people believe that you're.
2016. That's exactly why he did it. He knew he was going to be able to get away with it. Nothing else other than, I mean, if you know that the freaking president is going to have your back, yeah, you ain't, but nah. If you don't die. Sorry about that, y'all. It's just very ornery. Enemy there. I'm sorry. I just lost my temper.
I like Brett Kavanaugh, and that's why you shouldn't be a Supreme Court justice.
Never applied for it, never will. They would hate me on that bench. Oh, could you see it, Jules?
Actually, I can. I really can.
Just for the hilarity of it, that's why you can.
That's all I can say. I'm just going to put it like this. The people in your family will argue a point after it has been conceded for no reason at all. Everybody will have already agreed, and y'all are continuing to belabor that point you were trying to make. So, yep, I can see it for sure.
The lines are perpendicular.
And somebody will say, no, they're not. It's a crisscross. And your family will proceed to argue the merits of crisscross versus perpendicular for 2 hours.
With a fucking pie chart slideshow.
Yeah, shit that don't even go with it. You arguing perpendicular lines using a circle.
I hate everything about you, but it's so true. Oh, Jesus. If he hit his show, he gonna cuss both of us out.
Hey, you already know what's up. We have several epic debates.
Oh, but some of the debates that have gone on Say What Radio, which you guys to go ahead and check out, saywhatradio.com.
Saywhatradio.com. Check it out.
Some of the past episodes, just go through the catalog. It's a few hundred episodes, yes, and you can see the evolution of the show. But oh my God, some of those, oh Lord.
Oh, man. I think we're going to end the podcast here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening to episode number 8 of the Cool Black Nerd. Huh? What's up? What? We got something? What we got? What we got?
We ain't got no more.
I don't think so. I think we're done for this week. I think so. I think it is. I think it's done for this week.
I wasn't ready for it to end.
Yeah, well, it's over. So, again, thank you guys. Please check us out at saywhatradio.com. Check us out on your social media, Say What Radio and Cool Black Nerd Podcast. We got a lot of things coming your way, so be on the lookout. Thank you guys for listening. And please, leave comments, review. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. We're always trying to get better. Or, we'll just tell you why we disagree with you and keep it moving. So thanks again. Have a nice evening. We out.